You'll need a periodic table and the worksheet the substitute handed out to you today. We're going to talk about isotope notation and isotope symbol. These are ways that we write the information about an atom's nucleus. There are two different ways to do it. Isotope notation uses the format of the name of your element, a dash, followed by the mass number. We know the mass number from our lab with the atom candies as being the protons added to the neutrons in the nucleus. Isotope symbol is similar. In isotope symbol, we use the symbol of the element. In this case, we'll call it X. And on the left-hand side, written above the center line, if you imagine the center of your symbol as this red line, above the center in Latin is called superscript. So we want to write the mass number, which you have either been told or you have discovered by adding the protons to the neutral neutrons. Below the imaginary middle of your symbol, you want to write the atomic number, which is the number of protons or the number of electrons, and you've been told this number because you know the name or the symbol of your element and you can look up its atomic number on your periodic table. In this example of an isotope symbol, you've been told that you have lithium and the numbers 7/3 appear on the left-hand side. Based on this information, you can do lots of things. You can fill in any part of a data table like the ones on the worksheet. You can also write the isotope name. If you look up Li on your periodic table, you can find it because the bottom number is your proton number. So if you look at the third box on the periodic table, it is lithium. And then you can write -7 because that represents its mass number. You can also figure out the number of protons in lithium because they've been given to you in the atomic number. You can also use this to figure out the neutron number by doing some interesting math. Because you know the mass number is 7 and the proton number is 3, you can actually subtract them and figure out what is remaining in the nucleus, or in this case, 4 neutrons. Because remember, in the center of the atom, the protons add together with the neutrons. And if you know that this number has to add up to 7, and you know the number of protons was originally 3, you can figure out the missing information of the neutrons by subtracting. Okay, so now we know a couple of basic things about atoms. Let's put them to some use. On your worksheet, the very first problem is a chart in which you're given copper-58. The name copper gives you a lot of information because you can look it up on the periodic table and find the atomic number. So do that now, hit pause, and fill it in on your table. So did you get 29 as the atomic number? Now you can fill in lots of things about the rest of your atom based on knowing the atomic number. You always know the number of protons. So you can fill that number in as 29. And now it just takes a little bit of math to come up with the neutron number. They gave you the mass number right here, 58. And now, if you take mass minus protons, it will equal your number of neutrons. So calculate that now and fill it in. So I hope you came up with 29 neutrons. And now to write the isotope symbol, you would take the symbol for copper, Cu, and as the superscript, you write the larger number or the mass number, and then the smaller proton number below it. I always remember the order of the numbers because they spell Ma, like the name Ma. Use your periodic table to fill in the rest of chart number 1. For problems 2 through 7, you are supposed to write the isotope symbol given the amount of information. I always like to write myself notes about how to write isotope symbol. Remember that you put the symbol of your isotope on the right-hand side and think like there's an imaginary middle. So the mass number goes on top and the atomic number goes below it. It kind of spells the word Ma, or you can remember the larger number is always above the smaller number. So in question number 2, they want you to write the symbol for magnesium with 11 neutrons. Look up the symbol for magnesium on your periodic table and write it on the line. Once you've noticed magnesium is element number 12, that atomic number should go in the bottom left corner, or subscript. Above it is the mass number, but wait, you can't use the mass number on your periodic table because it's got decimals, and every mass number we've been using for the last few days has been a whole number based on the protons and the neutrons in the nucleus. So how are you going to figure it out? Well, if the atomic number is 12 and the clue was given to you about 11 neutrons, you get to add them together. So do that now and calculate the mass. Write it in on your paper. Did you get 23? I did too. So try the rest, numbers 3 through 7, and see how you do. Okay, so in this next section, numbers 8 through 15, you're going to need a calculator or some really good mental math skills. The symbol O tells you that it's oxygen, and the number at the bottom, 8, tells you that it's the atomic number or 8th box on the periodic table. So if you know the atomic number of oxygen and you know the symbol and you know the name, you can look it up on the periodic table and discover that it contains 8 protons. And now it's just a little bit of tricky math to figure out the number of neutrons. Remember that the protons and the neutrons added up in the nucleus. So if you were doing protons plus neutrons, they should equal the mass number that you've been given in the symbol, in this case 17. So using a little algebra, what's the missing number? 8 plus x equals 17. I get 9. So let's try number 9. How many protons are in 63 over 29 Cu? See if you can figure it out, hit pause, and then come back and see if you're right. So copper's atomic number should be 29 as given in the symbol on the bottom left. And if you subtract 63 minus 29, you should get that the neutrons equal 34. You can check your work by adding those numbers together to make sure that they add up to 63. Try the rest. Numbers 16 through 23 are kind of a mystery, so you want to use the clues on the left and find the matching isotope symbols on the right. You might have to do a little bit of adding or a little bit of subtracting using your periodic table to figure out which isotope symbol on the right matches with the statement on the left. Good luck. Have fun. You're not done yet, young Jedis. If you flip the worksheet over, there's more. because remember, there's always a dark side to the force. I know you can do it. The mysteries are kind of interesting. The clues are a little bit challenging, but all you need is your calculator and a good memory of protons plus neutrons equals the mass number and your trusty periodic table. I know you can do it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun and turn this in when you're done. Otherwise, it's homework.